In Jeremiah chapter 47, we learned about Philistia, and we learned about the providence of God. In chapter 48, which is what we're studying today, not only do we learn about God, the person of God, we learn how he deals with nations, principally in the form of Moab. Chapter 48 is the longest oracle that's written, inspired by God, against this nation called Moab. Moab is a cousin to the people of Israel. If you might recall in Genesis 19, verses 30 through 37, they are descendants of Lot by his daughters. They came incestuously, but nevertheless, Ammon and Moab descended from Lot. And they have kind of been somewhat of a thorn in the side of the people of God for ages. And it's time to be reconciled to God for the various claims for which they are guilty of. So it's God who is the ruler of the nations, sets out to describe what's going to happen with Moab. I want you to keep in mind some of these same principles apply to us today. There are great living lessons from chapter 48. Many people tend to skip over this chapter. I don't know why. Hopefully, you'll learn about the person of God. First thing you need to understand, the first 6 verses, happens to do with God who rules. He rules all nations. The Bible begins there in verse 1. Against Moab, thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, woe to Nebo, for it is plundered. Kirjath is shamed and taken. The high stronghold is shamed and dismayed. No more praise for Moab. In Heshbon, they have devised evil against her. Come, let us cut her off as a nation. You also shall be cut down, O madman. The sword shall pursue you. A voice of crying shall be from Horonaim, plundering and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard. For the ascent of Lud, they ascended with continual weeping. For in the descent of Horonaim, the enemies have heard a cry of destruction. Flee, save your lives, and be like the juniper in the wilderness. So, God who rules can make these pronouncements against the unrighteousness, against the arrogance, against nations who rebel against him. As we saw in Philistia, we see here in the case of Moab, God is in charge. Though they have great and mighty warriors, though they are defended, a fortified, defended city, God is still ruling. God is in charge. It does not matter the might. It does not matter the opportunities people have to defend themselves behind the cleft of a rock. Listen, when God wants you, God is going to do what? He's going to get you. And so these first 6 verses demonstrate that. The next part of this, as it relates to Moab, we see that God's view of Moab here in Psalm 60 and verse 8, Moab is described as God's washpot. There is nothing about Moab that will be a stain after God finishes with them. It's like a wash pot. It's used to clean things, and they're going to be cleansed from their bowels, from their bad wine making, as we'll talk about momentarily. And so remember these first 6 verses, God rules, and God will accomplish what his will is concerning the nations. Their enemies, as it relates to Nebuchadnezzar and the invading army, their destruction would be such that those who would view it would think them to be actually madmen, because they have no respect for what's in front of them. They're on a campaign of destruction. So it's important. He talks about woe to Nebo, for it is plundered. Kirjatham is shamed and taken. Kirjatham is a double city. It means double city. And it got that name because of its fortifications and also because of Chemosh's God. Everything they did for themselves, they did for Chemosh. And so they had a mirror image of a city that was wholly dedicated to their principal god, Chemosh. And so he says, you wonder, this is God's rule and God's resolve to not only punish Moab, but also the principal god of the Moabites, Chemosh, would go with it also. And this is the way of Jehovah with all of the nations. Not only does he punish those who are unfaithful, those who are disloyal, but he also wipes out, or he puts to shame their notion of whoever their God is. And their God is Chemosh, not Jehovah. And so it's going to be plundered so as to be washed or wiped out. Verses 7 through verse 12. He goes on, he says, and here's the reason. For because you have trusted in your works and your treasures, you also shall be taken. And Chemosh shall go forth into captivity, his priest and his princess together. And the plunderer shall come against every city. No one shall escape. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as the Lord has spoken. Give wings to Moab, that she may flee and get away, for her cities shall be desolate, without any to dwell in them. Cursed is he who does the work of the Lord deceitfully. Is in contrast to this statement here. And cursed is he who keeps back his sword from blood. Because you perform the service to God deceitfully. I have someone who will not hold back their sword from you intentionally. And so he's saying, verse 11, Moab has been at ease from his youth. He has settled on his dregs and has not been emptied from vessel to vessel. That's wine gone bad. You know, he says it needs to be tipped over. It needs to be clean. He says, nor has he gone into captivity. Therefore, his taste remained in him. And his scent has not changed. Therefore, behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, that I shall send him wine workers who will tip them over and empty his vessels and break the bottles. Not only does God rules, God respects. God respects adherence to whatever he has told us to do. God expected Moab to adhere to fidelity in worshiping him as opposed to Chemosh. God has If you lived in Turkey, you know the double city is all about Chemosh. And yet God respects those who would stand in spite of Chemosh. And those who did not, God had no respect. He saw them as wine bottles that are going bad, that needed to be emptied, that needed to be refilled, but refilled properly. So he had to send wine workers in there. And the wine workers is in the form of a prophet by the name of Jeremiah and other prophets as well. And now the wine workers have changed from Jeremiah to Nebuchadnezzar in his invading army. And they're about to be tipped over. They're about to be destroyed. God rules all nations, but God respects adherence regardless of the nation. Moab is no different than Israel. Moab is no different than America. God respects adherence still. Habakkuk 2, the just shall live by what? By faith. It does not matter what country. Has no respect to territory. God respects the faithful ones. The just ones are those who walk by faith. Those who by faith are willing to endure in order to be pleasing to Jehovah God. Moab failed this particular test. So God respects adherence, and those who were not adherent, they thought they were, but they were doing the work of the Lord deceitfully. What does it mean to do or to perform the service of the Lord deceitfully? All one has to do is go back in time. 1 Samuel talks about Eli's sons. They performed the work of the Lord deceitfully. And you know what happened to them. All one has to do is take a look at Saul, who sought to render before God that which God did not ask for in 1 Samuel 15 in routing the Amalekites. God told him to wipe out everything. I don't need any oblations or sacrifices. Wipe it out. And Saul didn't do that. This is part of the adherence that God respects. Just because you think it ought to be done this way, God says do it my way. We really need to remember that. Do it my way. Chemosh is not a cookie-cutter pattern for you to follow if you expect to be blessed and highly favored by Jehovah God. With Chemosh came, number one, pleasure. Number two, materialism. Number three, vainglory or positions. If you want to preach, you became a princess to the service of Chemosh. And it was disguised as though Jehovah would approve of it. But God says through Jeremiah, that's being deceitful. Another way you could say it, as you think about God respecting adherence, it's found in Galatians 6 and verse 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Can you fool God? Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. God respects adherence. In verse 13, the next section about God says, Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, and the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. How can you say, we are mighty and strong men for the war, gone up from her cities. Her chosen young men have gone down to the slaughter, says the king, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Notice that the king is not described here as Nebuchadnezzar. The king is the one who rules all nations. The king is the one who respects adherence. The king is Jehovah. And so he says, the calamity of Moab is near at hand, and his affliction comes quickly. Bemoan him, all you who are around him, and all you who know his name. Say how the strong staff is broken, the beautiful rod. For many, many years, decades, they stood proudly without anyone contesting or overthrowing them. They stood as a rock, here described as a strong staff, but it's broken. The beautiful staff, the beautiful rod. What happened to it? It's broken. O daughter of inhabiting Dibon, come down from your glory and sit in thirst. For the plunderer of Moab has come against you. He has destroyed your strongholds, O inhabitants of Ar. Stand by the way and watch. Ask him who flees and her who escapes. Say, what has happened? Moab is shamed. And again, when he says Moab is shamed, it's the same as saying Chemosh is shamed. For he is broken down. Wail and cry. Tell it to Arnon, that Moab is plundered. And judgment has come on the plain country, on Olam and Jahaz, and Bethitha, on Dibon and Nebo, and Beth Diblath, on Kyrgyzstan, and Beth Gramo, and Beth Neon. It's pretty good on that, isn't it? On Kirah and Bozrah, on all the cities of the land of Moab, far or near. The horn of Moab is cut off, and the word horn there has reference to power. The power of Chemosh, the power of Moab. It's cut off. Power from the standpoint of spiritual power, Chemosh. Power from the standpoint of military power, the young man stricken down, cut off, or slain. And his arm is broken, says the Lord. He has no way to circulate a defense against the oncoming enemy. Make him drunk. Why? And here's the reason. Because he exalted himself against the Lord. Moab shall wallow in his vomit. He shall also be in derision. For was not Israel a derision to you? Was he found among thieves? For whenever you speak of him, that is of Israel, you shake your head in scorn. You who dwell in Moab, leave the cities that dwell in the rock, and be like the dove which makes her nest in the sides of the cave's mouth. God remembers the arrogance of those who took advantage of his people. One outstanding characteristic about my God is, when we say how long, because of the unrighteousness of the environment that we live in, God says, I'm long suffering. My timetable is not your timetable, but I will remember. And in this section, you want to understand the person of God is a God who remembers. Who remembers unrighteous acts against his people, Israel. Who remembers the arrogance and the pride of those who are perpetrating crimes against his people, against his chosen ones. He remembers their arrogance. The key there for many, I don't think it's just that verse, but because he exalted himself or elevated himself past Jehovah, that's all about. This, a physical illustration in Genesis 11 when the Tower of Babel construction crew tried to build a tower not only to reach God, but to be on the level with God. You know what happened to them, don't you? Yeah, they kind of had a fall. And not only did they fall, they scattered. But here, God is saying, you who are trying to exalt yourself even past me. Chemosh did that for them, you know. He says, arrogance, pride, ego. Moab was a spiritual narcissist. They were so stuck on themselves that they couldn't see God. And it was to the using of God's people, to the ridicule of God's people, that this was done. And God says, I will remember. Why does God hate arrogance and pride so much? Well, because there's no other God but God. And any so-called God, little g, that will try to prop up those who would adhere to this little God and make them imagine themselves to be something that they're not, when they become puffed up and all, God always has to take them down a peg or two. But God didn't just take them down a peg or two. God would wipe them out for the most part in this destruction. Now, he didn't wipe them out utterly and totally. But they were learning a lesson that they would not soon forget. Maybe we should learn the same lesson. To those who think you stand and take heed, lest you fall. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 12. Recognizing that in order for us to cast our cares to him who cares for us, 1 Peter 5:7, we must first submit ourselves or humble ourselves under the mighty hand of God, 1 Peter 5, verses 5 to 6. And when we don't do that, 1 Peter 8, the devil will have a heyday with us. Moab did not do that, and the devil has had his heyday with them in the form of Chemosh, and God says, it's time to cut this program off. So God remembers. In verse 9 of Jeremiah, by the way, if someone have a King James, old King James Bible, read verse 9 for me. Would you read it for me? Yeah. Okay. It should be desolate. Somewhere, maybe it's verse 9 and verse 10 in the American Standard and the King James. It talks about Saul, being there. And at least I remember studying that when I was in school. And whether it's there or whether it's not, it reminded me of the lesson Wednesday that Brother Span was presenting, that very excellent lesson on you're the salt of the world. But when Saul, like in the case of Sodom and Gomorrah and other cities of the plain, when salt is there, when they scatter salt on it, that means this program is in it. Put an end to them. It's total desolation for them. I just thought I'd throw that out. I just thought of it as I was going through this, so I brought that back up. But salt is about desolation. And so, to those who would be arrogant, puffed up, lifted up as though they are on a par with God, it may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. But God remembers. And God, who remembers arrogance, will take care of it on his own time. There is another attribute about God in this chapter. In verse 29, for we have heard the pride of Moab. He is exceedingly proud of his loftiness and arrogance and pride, and of the haughtiness of his heart. I know his wrath, says the Lord, but it is not right. His lies have made nothing right. And with that, also remember, he's talking about Chemosh as well. Therefore, I will wail for Moab. I will cry out for all Moab. I will mourn for the men of Kirhirs, O vine of Sheba. I will weep for you with the weeping of Jazer. Your plants have gone over the sea. They reached to the sea of Jazer. The plunderer has fallen on your summer fruit and your vintage. Joy and gladness are taken from the plentiful field and from the land of Moab. Their crops have failed. I have caused wine to fail from the winepress. It's gone foul, by the way. No one will tread with joyous shouting, not joyous shouting. From the city of Heshbon to Eliah and to Jahaz, they have uttered their voice from Zor to Horonaim, like a 3-year-old heifer. For the waters of Nimrod also shall be desolate. Moreover, says the Lord, I will cause to cease in Moab the one who offers sacrifices in high places and burn incense to his gods. Therefore my heart shall wail like flutes for Moab. Like flutes my heart shall wail for the men of Kirhirs. Therefore the riches they have acquired have perished. Again, riches and pleasure and all was associated with Chemosh worship. And it says, for every head shall be bald, and every beard clipped. On all the hands shall be cuts, and on the loins sackcloth. Imagine that. Kept the barber busy, didn't he? Every head bald, you could make a lot of money doing that. Every beard clipped. A general lamentation on all the housetops of Moab. And in the streets, for I have broken Moab like a vessel in which is no pleasure, says the Lord. They shall wail how she is broken down. How Moab has turned her back with shame. So Moab shall be a derision and a dismay to all those about her. For thus says the Lord, behold, one shall fly like an eagle and spread his wings over Moab. Kir is taken. The strongholds are surprised. The mighty men's hearts in Moab on that day shall be like the heart of a woman in birth pains. And Moab shall be destroyed as a people because he exalted himself against the Lord. Fear and the pit and the snare shall be upon you, O inhabitants of Moab, says the Lord. He who flees from the fear shall fall in the pit. In other words, there's no escape. And he who gets out of the pit shall be caught in a snare. For upon Moab, upon it I will bring the year of their punishment, says the Lord. Those who fled stood under the shadow of Heshbon because of exhaustion. But a fire shall come out of Heshbon, a flame from the midst of Shigar, and shall devour the brow of Moab, the crown of the head of the sons of Tumor. Woe to you, O Moab! The people of Chemosh perish. For your sons have been taken captive, and your daughters captive. Here God reckons accurately according to the deeds of adherence or non-adherence of people and nations. God reckons accurately because he's no respecter of persons. God God reckons righteously because of his word. And God will reckon eternally because of where God is. God is in heaven, and God desires our presence with him in heaven. Yes, ma'am. On Psalms? Okay, that was based on the, well, in the chapter, I thought it was verse 9 or verse 10. What is it? Verse 9. Jeremiah 48, verse 9. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So God is reckoned, you know, when people look at this, they think, why would God do such a thing? You ever heard people say that? You know, why would God do that to all those people like this? Again, Galatians 6 and verse 7. You reap what you sow. Romans 6:23, the wages of sin is death. But a long-suffering, patient God has waited long enough. As we mentioned earlier, for decades, he who was proud and defended it behind the rocks, securely, laughing and trying to make fun of God's people, now their uppers is coming. And God is going to reckon according to their deeds. In 2 Corinthians 5 verse 10, we will be reckoned according to our deeds, to the things that we have done, whether it be good or whether it be bad. There's a day of reckoning. Their day of reckoning came for them. But there's a day of reckoning that will come for all people, all nations. That's why I'm glad I'm not in charge. God's in charge. He's the ruler. God remembers arrogance. God respects adherence. And here, God will reckon accurately. Make no mistake about it. God doesn't make the mistakes that we make. God doesn't make mistakes, period. And so this section has to do with God remembering so as to reckon whatever needs to be reckoned with you in your life, between you and God. He reckons righteously. He reckons eternally. But he always reckons accurately. He doesn't miss. I mean, you remember saying you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool. Ultimately, you can't fool God. You can fool some of the people. You can't fool them all the time. Well, you might, but you can't fool God. That's the whole point of this. Well, unless you think it's doom and gloom, you need to read the last verse. Yet I will bring back the captives of Moab in the latter days, says the Lord. Thus far is the judgment of Moab. God redeems. Those who were adherent, God redeems. Those who are remembering Jehovah, God redeems. That God redeems here is a glimmer of hope, not only for Moab, but for the world. You see, he says in the latter day, we're in that latter day. When in spite of the environment that we live in, it doesn't matter who's ruling, God is on the throne. And when we, in our arrogance, think somehow that we don't need God, and God reckons and we find out that, whoops, I made a mistake. In the day of reckoning, there'll be no atheists. In the day of reckoning, there'll be no agnostics. They shall all know him from the least to the greatest. And they will acknowledge that he is the God of heaven. Well, he is the God who redeems. When we rise above our pride, our arrogant lives and way of life, and focus our eyes on the God of heaven, it'll be because we understand God is. As we think about it, God is he who rules all nations. God is he who respects adherence. God is he who remembers arrogance. God is he who reckons accurately and appropriately, I might add. God is he who redeems accordingly. Because God, therefore, is righteous. And that's the subtotal of what this is about. The righteousness of God to redeem me, even though I probably didn't need it. Or I know I didn't merit it or anything like that, but to redeem me in spite of myself. That's his grace. Don't skip over chapters like Jeremiah 48. God has less than that. Jeremiah 47, God's providence to take care of his people through tough times. Jeremiah 48, in the midst of tough times, God still rules. God is reigning. He remembers. He will reckon, and he will redeem. May God help us be one of those, one of many among the redeemed. I think of the nature of how Chemosh, the principal god of the Moabites, was working. And it reminds me of a word, it's a word picture, but it's based on the word divorce. You take the word divorce and break it down, even today, it would mean the devil is viciously out ripping Christians endlessly. Chemosh was out ripping their relationship to Jehovah, viciously doing it, and doing it in such a way that the people of God, as well as the Moabites, were trying to serve God deceitfully. And you can't have stability in living when you serve God deceitfully. It is a divorce in the making. And Malachi 3, God hates divorce. Then in James, as we close it out, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Yes, God hates divorce, not just marital divorce. God hates when you divorce yourself from him.